so for mine and Ash's business presentation, we decided to look at increasing youth activity and Fitness by Design club memberships together. And what we're going to do now is go through how we came about with this idea.
So to start off with, we've got a SWOT analysis. So this is to identify potential areas to improve on, basically. So developing members, training, development of staff knowledge and skill. We've got several ways to identify these. So both internal are strengths and weaknesses. So that's what ourselves can develop on. And then both external are opportunities and threats.
So firstly, what we will do is go through the strengths of our business. Well, Fitness by Design as a business. This is just a brief overlay of all of the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats that are currently in and surrounding Fitness by Design.
So to start off with our strength. So our staff knowledge is key. So we've got everyone in the company are either level 3 personal training qualified or above, and if not, they're in the process of gaining that.
Our main strength is our club owner, Colin. He's GP referral trained, so we deal with a lot of members who have injuries or need rehabilitation, so staff knowledge mainly comes from him.
So the second one is reflection in member satisfaction. So Aidan will elaborate on in a minute, is our renewal rate.
So our member satisfaction reflects in our renewal rates. Renewal rates within private gyms, so you're looking at Pure Gym, LED, are 5% below. So every year they're having to generate new members because they're swapping between gyms. Whereas at Fitness by Design, we pride ourselves on our renewal rate of over 70%. And that's because we take care with our customers.
And we do also have members that have been with us for the whole 12 years being open. And number 3 and 4 correlates with this. So everyone who puts their name down or signs up for classes generally don't tend to bail out. And if they do, they ring up prior with valid reasons of why. So to every strength is the same amount of weaknesses. So first of all, only the owner Colin puts upon himself to sign up new members, basically. So we're putting the workload on other members of staff. This will allow Colin to go out into the community to do stuff, representing the company.
It's only really the summer that fairs and fetes are attended, so the rest of the year there's no real interaction with the community, and we think that if Colin delegated appropriately enough, he'll be able to free up some more of his time to be able to go and interact with people, therefore creating new members. And that then correlates onto time management and availability. So if he delegates appropriately enough, it'll make him more available and he'll be able to get more members that way.
So addressing these weaknesses will open up a number of opportunities. So on Mondays we have a group of secondary school children come in for training with us basically. So these individuals that come into the training can then turn into future memberships. These members can introduce the company to their friends, family to come along for support or generate a session with them.
Those school groups, it totals about 60 pupils at the moment, and only about 10% of those are actually members. And because of the size of the classes, they're generally 2 classes of about 30, tends to turn into a separate class, so they don't really understand the USP of the actual club. So by going out and actually meeting those pupils in their school environment, we'll be able to explain it properly and tell them of all the benefits that the club can offer.
So then this will lead on to educating clients on on nutrition, how to lead a healthy lifestyle, and the opportunities that are out there for example, one-to-one training or again group training.
And the final thing is community involvement. Although everyone within the Gillingham area and the surrounding area know who Fitness by Design are, they don't necessarily know what we can offer as a club. We're not your usual gym environment, which we'll get onto later on.
So our last slide on our SWOT analysis is the increase of inflation. Basically, with the falling or stalling of salaries. So this will take an impact on sales and memberships as with the stalling of salaries, things that are not deemed as essential to some will take a backseat to things that are deemed as essential.
Other things as well are prejudices towards gyms and the environments that they create. People have this fixation that they can be the wrong thing for them, which we'll discuss later on as well, but it's just one of the threats that are currently available within the fitness industry.
Where it says initial investment and potential outcome cost, people want to be assured that they'll get what they want to get the outcome that they want, that they desire. So essentially, it's only what they put into it that they'll get out, but people tend to want more than that from the company.
They want a guarantee, essentially. Just to highlight the increase in inflation comparative to falling and stalling salaries, these two graphs depict, one on the left is inflation rates. That line that runs through it dictates where 1991 starts, 2001 starts, and 2001 to 2016 for salaries. Now, although inflation rate seems to have dipped off these last few years, it's steadily on a rise again, but salaries are actually on a decline. So that's another thing that needs to be taken into account when trying to acquire new members.
So now onto our plan. So we want to generate more external coaching. So whether that be after school clubs, going out and taking classes in the local field, workshops, going into schools and giving talks. Talks on healthy lifestyle or again nutrition.
It leads on to nutritional advice. So using NHS guidelines, we can provide meaningful support and ideas for the local community, therefore making ourselves more well known and essentially providing a service for our community rather than ourselves. And the final thing is help to organisations doing the same kind of work. So the people we're targeting, it is mainly 13 to 16 year olds, and the average age of a member of Fitness by Design is over 50, so our young clientele, there aren't that many of them, and it's usually down to not knowing what a gym environment at Fitness by Design is like.
So but in order to generate younger memberships, we look into studies, and these studies suggest that primarily under 18, the reason for getting into activity is just to have fun, basically. But other factors, to better themselves, to be fitter, healthier. So we can take advantage of these studies, and also studies that we found, they tend to get into sport from the age of 13, so, and then around 13 to 16, and then they tend to drop off at the age of 18. I found this could be for many reasons, such as education. So, putting a good standpoint on sport at an early age, we feel we're up to stay with them for life.
The final big motive is an affiliation motive. So if a young gym goer is doing it with a friend or a family member, they tend to do it more often and stick at it better than somebody who's doing it on their own. Now obviously 13 to 16 year olds will need permission from a guardian or a parent to actually participate in it. So there is also a potential to bring in a family membership because they'll have to get permission from their parents.
So onto our guidelines for physical activity. So from the World Health Organisation, activity for 5 to 17 year olds should be around roughly an hour a day. So this can range from moderate to vigorous activity. For vigorous activity, they say more sort of walking to school, walking the dog, riding the bike instead of taking the car to places. For vigorous activity, so sort of playing a sport, so rugby, tennis, football, riding, like mountain biking over hilly terrain. And a good rule of thumb is, so for every 1 minute of vigorous activity can equate to 2 minutes of moderate activity. And also the World Health Organisation say that 3 of these days a week should be more weight-bearing exercises that have strength from the bone, so things like tree climbing, or at an older age, teenhood, band, resistance training, weight training.
The final thing is the impact on society. So actually implementing our business plan, the impact on society will help that. The biggest thing is the advertising that the NHS is currently putting on. So you have things like Change for Life, One You and Sugar Smart. It's currently a big advertising scheme that the government's putting on to try and get people into doing physical activity and doing sport. So for Fitness by Design, that actually bodes well for us because we can actually use our facilities to help facilitate that. The cost of diabetes at the moment in the UK is estimated around 9 billion a year, and the reduction of that cost can be brought around by actually getting involved in staying active and fit. And the final thing is the funding that gets put into advertising for things like Change for Life. It's 4.2 billion, but it's been projected that it could be 27 billion. So if you take that cost away from advertising, it could be put back into the NHS, into Vital Care Fund.
So the requirements to put this into place, first and foremost, we need DBS check. So this is for certainly one-to-one, personal trainer, group session, anyone that interacts with the younger generation, primarily under 18 and 16, they'll need this to prove they've got a clean record. The other requirements, wages, so money basically, so taken out, go on to the duties, then takes out working hours.
You've also got to take into account the distance, so club to school or club to local facility that comes into account, and the distance for that potential member to come to the club as well. That then comes into who we'll be targeting. So are we targeting a school that's 20 miles away? Are we targeting a school that's next door to us? And then the information that we provide them with, obviously being a minor, like I said before, we'll have to provide them with costing information and also relevant information as to safety guidelines and stuff like that. So Fitness by Design, who and what we are. Our USP is mainly Fitness 45. It is essentially a 45-minute class with only 4 to 5 members. It's not a circuit class. Everybody's training program is completely different, completely unique for that individual because everyone's needs are different, everyone's goals are different. Like I said, our average member is over 50 years old. So by bringing in 13 to 16-year-olds, we can bring the average member age down and also increase our member size. There's no extra cost for this, and there's no extra cost for one-to-one meetings and nutritional advice. We do it all within that one membership. We have, like I said, unique training plans and personal care. All of our members can come to us. We're never going to charge them any extra. We try to make it friendly, enjoyable, and try to have a fun atmosphere when you're training, because if you're not having fun, you're not going to do it. And we're also aware of any injuries that people may pick up. So we're always looking to make sure that people are safe and well. And then finally, we're going to talk about, in terms of Fitness by Design, is the idea of training gyms in that environment. So it's firstly prejudice. When people think about gyms, they think classes, they think the cost, they think the environment, they think who's it for, and they think fitness fanatics and bodybuilders and bodybuilding. It's not that kind of gym essentially. What we do is we have small groups constantly going on. There are very few bodybuilders there, very few fitness fanatics, and everyone's friendly. You can talk to literally anyone there.
So yeah, that's for a lot of gyms. Everyone thinks it's not for them or not the right type of gym for them. Hence why a lot of gyms promote classes. Here at Fitness by Design, we don't tend to do classes, hence the group sessions, and so people want to try and fit into the gym. But as Aidan said, we have a wide range of people from mainly all ages, train every sort of time of day. So there's always someone that's in the same boat as you, in the same age bracket as you, whenever you go.
And then finally is the potential. So the potential for this is growth. If you increase member numbers, the club can grow, therefore it can lead on to expansion, and it can also educate its members and the local surrounding community.
Yeah, with these rising funds, through education, so it can, from the training point of view, the company can help potentially pay for its trainers to go back into education or do things on the side to get higher qualifications, and even more money to sort of go out to these, go into the go out branch further and again educate nutrition and lifestyle.
Final two things are support and awareness. So by going out to schools and doing these teaching classes, trying to get them to become members, we can support their lifestyles, we give them ideas, give them ways of staying fit and healthy, thus taking the residual effect off of things like NHS and the transport, and it makes them aware of the impact it has on the wider society than just essentially eating whatever they want and having stagnant days essentially, because you've got to stay active to stay fit. Finally, we'd like to finish on any questions, so if there's anything anybody would like to know about the club or why we want to do this, then feel free to ask.
So you said with inflation, so how do you make sure the gym's affordable for everybody with inflation rates increasing?
With regards to inflation rate, that's dependent on the area.
Yeah.
So as a club, we would have to perhaps make a school goers membership.
Yeah.
Our current rates start at £9.61 a week, so that could perhaps be changed or adapted to fit a school leaver or a school goer, so that it can fit their budget as well. With regards to inflation, same goes for group memberships as well. So we can, if there's a whole family who want to go, there is a special family members price and they can save money that way. Any other questions?
You say you're looking at family membership. Have you got any idea how much revenue you want to bring in from those types of membership?
Off the top of my head, no. I know our current client base is 10% of the Gillingham area and its surrounding area. So obviously you'd like to increase that by further 5% if you could. So it's 1,500 members. Short answer, no.